Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with a little update and I suppose a little rant as well. We're still waiting on Alpha 3.9.0 to go to wider PTU. There were a few pieces that still needed to be ironed out to get it out of the hands of the Evocati and into more people's hands, and it just wasn't quite ready for the weekend. So what are we waiting on? Desync and stability are the key things that they are currently addressing according to Cloud Imperium before it goes to that wider PTU. And this is also what is normally the main factor for a live release too. They might add some extra features in between PTU and live that they need to test as well. That's sort of common, but a lot of sort of like more vigorous testing, testing with a lot more players, that is incredibly important. So it's not just going to go straight to a live release, it will go to wider PTU first, and various other issues can be uncovered from that, and it's typically in the wider PTU phase for a week or two. So we also might get a little bit of balance tweaking done at that stage too. We look like we're currently a month or so delayed with the 3.9 build at the moment, and that is a little annoying, especially during the time where everyone's locked in and desperately wanting something to play. I'd also like to apologise for my atrocious estimations of the first wave PTU and when I thought it would be out. With patches, PTU phases and blockers, Cloud Imperium won't release to the next stage until they are ready. Historically, a lot of these blockers were fixed much quicker, or a placeholder solution was put in, or a blocker was kind of overlooked and sort of like, oh, we'll fix it later on. But with this, they're trying to get it more playable. What I'll do in the future, when I give estimations on times and dates, I think I do it anyway, but I'll make sure it's very clear that they are very much my estimation of a date when it comes to PTU waves, because I don't want people to go, Board said it was out on the weekend. Actually, I haven't had any of those comments. People sort of blaming me for anything, which I do appreciate. But I do obviously feel partly responsible for, you know, saying that it's going to be out when it hasn't been, or saying that it's very likely to be out and it hasn't been out. So apologies for that. With the current development methodology that Cloud Imperium are doing, they sort of are really trying to deal with desync problems of the 3.8 branch and get 3.9 into a much more playable state. It's important that Star Citizen's alphas are more playable and accessible because of Cloud Imperium's development and funding model. And although no one enjoys delays, if we do get a significant improvement with 3.9 from 3.8, then it should be worth the wait, at least from my point of view. The staggered development model is currently not really showing any obvious improvement in speed or quality of patches, at least in my opinion. This could well be due to Cloud Imperium working from home. In Cloud Imperium's defense, though, as well, a huge amount of other companies are not operating at all, or operating at a massive reduction in man hours and efficiency throughout the current global situation. And although Cloud Imperium certainly has seen some delays because of this, it's also in a relatively good spot compared to other companies because they are very well set up for remote working and working from home already, as Cloud Imperium have said. But it's almost impossible for us to work out what tangible delay there is on the project because of the global situation. There's obviously going to be ill staff members, there's obviously going to be people a bit anxious. Are people going to be less efficient working from home? Maybe. They could be more efficient. Some people are likely to be good, some people are likely to be bad at it. And how long exactly has it taken for them to get set up at home properly? Obviously they're going to need to re-gear themselves around working from home. So it looks like a month in terms of 3.9 being delayed, if that is indeed entirely attributable to the global situation, which it might not be. So, but that could have a longer knock-on to the rest of the project. It could have knock-ons to Squadron 42. It might not. I'm just saying it could. But does this mean that 4.0 will be delayed as well? Well, not necessarily delayed, but features have already been pushed back from 4.0 to 4.1 and 4.2. And 4.0 did have some big features like Crusader and the landing zone Horizon being moved out. That is a little disappointing. I was really looking forward to having Horizon in for 4.0, and that could see things like Pyro. Pyro's not on the roadmap yet, but it's supposed to be in 2020. That could get pushed off to 2021 now. And there's a bit of cognitive dissonance or juxtaposition with Star Citizen's playable alpha releases. This comes at least in part from Cloud Imperium saying that they will push something back if it's not ready to a later release. But also, when they release something that it's going to evolve, it might not be its finished intended format, it might be an early test, it might be iterated on and changed, and yeah, these bits are not finished, but they also hold back patches and when they're not ready, while also saying that they want to be date-driven in their releases. So there's a lot of stuff going on there that is directly conflicting with one statement to another, and they keep on changing these statements. The truth with it seems that Cloud Imperium make judgment calls on each given feature and patch with their dates, with exactly what's going to be in those features, and although they want to have date-driven releases, it sometimes is in their interests and ours to delay them. So they will delay stuff still, even though they are targeted and are at least aspirationally trying to achieve date-driven releases. I've seen a good amount of people question the actual roadmaps on the website. So Cloud Imperium are entirely revamping the Squadron 42 roadmap, for example, because the way it conveyed information was in a sort of linear format, which was not appropriate for Squadron 42, because it would just mark off all of its sort of like tasks completed just before its release, which isn't going to show us much in the way of actual development. It did show development features and how they were sort of progressing, but that was very much mirrored to the persistent universe anyway. So they are doing something that will allow us to have more Squadron 42 information conveyed to us, or a better roadmap for it, whatever. In regards to the persistent universe roadmap, features often get moved off and added, even very close to a patch's release, or even past cutoff points, features can still move off. The roadmap does show Cloud Imperium's intentions and priorities, and although they may change heavily over the course of a year, they still, for me at least, show valuable information, as long as they are updated at the earliest possible stage that Cloud Imperium knows, and sort of like they give reasons why a feature moves or slips, which they, to be fair to them, do in the roadmap roundup. Now, something I do desperately want to see is sort of like the big ticket and really important features for Star Citizen's completion for the persistent universe listed. I just want them written down somewhere so that we can look at them and see the priority, see the work completed towards them, or at least CIG to acknowledge that they are big features that need to be completed for the roadmap eventually. And this could be a lot of stuff, including like salvage gameplay or the Vulcan integration, things like that. So big, important pieces of the game that we know that we need before the game is considered, you know, a version 1 release. If it was ordered in some form of priority, like what they think is the most important thing in regards to gameplay loops, which ones they're trying to target first, just roughly in a list, that would be absolutely great. Doesn't need that, but it would be useful. And this would also be useful when we see features slip or stuff get reprioritized. We're able to look at this and go, why has this been reprioritized? And, oh, we've seen that this has slipped off the roadmap, but it's on the sort of like big list of things that they will get done at some point. I think a lot of different people would argue across a whole spectrum of Cloud Imperium and Star Citizen to concentrate on finishing the game and not the playable alpha at all. Cloud Imperium need to focus more on gameplay loops ASAP for the alpha, so players are being happy with the current development's choices and saying, well, it's fine if they delay stuff because we'll get a better game from it eventually. And so some people are just quite happy to wait for that game in the future. We do know that the lion's share of development resources are being allocated to Squadron 42 and transferable features between Squadron and the persistent universe, which should be seeing things like UIs, the renderer, engine, ship combat, and AI get significant improvements this year. I mean, they are working on lots of other stuff as well. I am very anxiously waiting 3.9.0's wider PTU release and live release. Cloud Imperium need to have a good release for that 3.9 live branch. Well, I suppose they don't. They don't need, but they need to eventually make a good game. For me, though, I want to be making content on a stable, fun, playable, and not desyncy version of Star Citizen. And 3.9 is the one I want to really start making gameplay content with. And everyone is locked in at home at the moment, waiting for a patch to play. So I can see why CIG are really trying to hammer out desync and get that branch playable as possible. So hopefully they will be able to do that. Sorry, this video was more of a rant than I originally intended, or a lot of sort of like my opinions on development and stuff. I'm teaching my editor at the moment how to play Star Citizen, at least in terms of general traversal around the verse, and using cameras and recording in game. We did ram into a moon while with me screaming "pull up" and her saying, you would be a terrible driving instructor. Yeah, because I'm in space and you rammed a moon and I'd be dead. She's very, very, very good at using manually aimed weapons in Arena Commander, been doing lots of Vandal Swarm and stuff. So it's been fun. Well, hopefully it will be fun when we get 3.9. Lots of recording. I want to have much better content on my channel. I'm inspired by people like Morphologists. I'm inspired by people like Rexilla's gameplay that he's been able to do, but also some of the sort of like cool After Effects that people have put in, like Subliminal. I think that for the Ship Buyer's Guide series, that's an absolutely fantastic thing, and he's done his own version of the Ship Buyer's Guide. I say own version, obviously it's his, not mine. It's not a version of mine. It's, you know, there's going to be lots of content the content creators create that's very similar, I suppose, but their own styles are sort of like what make it, and opinions and that sort of stuff. But I like things like that. Obviously, Nubifier and Salty Mike are big influences on me, on my content as well. So lots and lots of stuff there that I'm going to be effectively taking bits that I like of, saying to my editor, bam, this is what I like, and hopefully they'll be able to insert that into my videos and make it good, better. It can't be worse. My B-roll is awful, and my editing is terrible. You can help with the development of the channel by, you know, dropping some stuff in the comments. What do you want to see for 3.9? What do you think of the whole global situation stuff and CIG working from home? What's your opinions on things? A situation can be understandable and disappointing at the same time, and that's where I currently am, sort of like waiting on 3.9. And when are we getting it? Well, we're going to get it when it's ready. And that could be within the next few hours or few days. I don't know, but I keep on being told that they're very close. But I have been for many, many weeks. So I think it's just a blockers thing. Sometimes these blockers can be easily, bam, knocked out of the park. And other times they are a lot more tricky to solve than they wanted to, or they're just not ready to go to wider PTU. Another thing with the whole working from home and global situation thing is that we don't really have a way to measure or judge the exact impact on Squadron 42 and Star Citizen in both short and long term, at least a way to quantify it all. There is a lot of frustration for me, but I do love the project, warts and all, and the community. As a massive Star Citizen and I suppose Cloud Imperium fan, I can be frustrated at times, but still sort of like accept that a situation is happening, or, you know, you can be a mixture of emotions. I'm a mixture of emotions. What are you? Are you a mixture of emotions? What thoughts do you have? Chuck them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you because, you know, I'm lonely. We're all locked inside. Please give comments, like and subscribe, do all that stuff. Actually, statistically, from a lot of stuff I've seen, you should actually remind your audience to subscribe. Please press the subscribe button. That really helps. And if you want to press the YouTube join button, that is like Patreon, but directly integrated into YouTube. And you can subscribe to just help support the channel and give me more money. And I like money. Thanks. Apparently that works. For April, we are giving away a Cutlass Black and Star Citizen game package. Just comment on any of my videos made during this month of April to be in for a chance of winning that. I am a shill for a couple of companies, NordVPN and NordPass. If you are looking for a VPN or a password management system, I recommend you check them out. They've got many benefits over free services, and as I'm pretty security conscious, I love those kind of services. Also, there's Shadow. If you are thinking about getting a new gaming rig or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or whatever, then consider Shadow instead. It is a internet cloud-based subscription service like Stadia, like GeForce Now, but this one gives you access to a full Windows 10 environment which is fully customizable, and that is significantly better in my opinion, allowing you to do a lot more with it. Check out the links below for them or use the code BoredGamer for discount. Also, if you wish to support the channel further, there is Patreon, there's the YouTube join member button down below. That really helps. This is a community supported channel and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support that I get. If you want to share these videos, if you want to comment, give feedback, whatever, that is also hugely appreciated. Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care and I'll see you in the verse.